UFC 313, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev takes place this weekend. We're going to be predicting the full card, starting off with the early prelims, finishing with the main event. There are some really underrated fights on this card. It is still pretty stacked, okay? You may not recognize everyone on the card, but it's still very stacked. We're going to start off with Chris Gertes versus John Castaneda. Castaneda? We're going to call him John. So, John's came in on short notice. He's lower. He's much lower than Gertes in world rankings. I'm gonna pick Gertes to win on decision. It's just I don't trust the short notice pickup to come in. It's just my opinion, honestly. Next up, we've got Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. We're gonna try and go through these early prelims as fast as possible, just because, well, they're quite bummy, if we're gonna be honest. Santos versus Diaz. Santos looked all right on the Contender Series. He's had some decent fights, but he doesn't really have the finishing potential. I do think he's going to absolutely walk his way through Ozzy Diaz, though. I'm going to pick Santos to win and to beat Ozzy Diaz by decision, though. Don't think he has the finishing potential to physically, put him out cold or submit him. So, next up, Santos versus Marshall. I'm going with Santos to win. Marshall's on, the momentum isn't really there for Marshall. Kind of is there for Santos. However, the main bit I'm going to focus on here is Marshall is cutting from lightweight down to featherweight, which isn't exactly a good move to make. Holloway tried doing that. He got knocked out cold. Most fighters, like Volk did it, he got knocked out cold. Most fighters that go down a weight division after, or go cuts down to a different weight division, it doesn't really tend to go well for them, So I'm going to go with Santos to win. I'm going to go round 2 KO. I don't trust the chin of Marshall. Moving on to the prelims, there are some good fights here. We're going to try and discuss these in detail. Morona versus Leal. I'm going to pick Leal to win. Now, Leal is clearly on performance-enhancing drugs. He is 30 years of age and he has acne all over his body. Now, the UFC are going to do some more drug testing on the guy and he's probably going to hop off his cycle or cycle off. So I feel like he's probably not going to be as good in this fight. Now, he did lose his debut. He got robbed, arguably. He did get robbed. I'm going to pick him to get this one done within the distance. Round 3 KO, Carlos Leal. Now, Arman Petrosan versus Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira is kind of just a ball of muscle. And just a ball of just size. So I can see him knocking out Petrosan, who is coming off a knockout loss to Sharon Magomedov. Now, Petrosan, I don't know how this man wipes his own ass. He has a 71-inch reach at 6'3". Okay? Come on. He's got a reach disadvantage against a guy who's 5'10". In Bruno Ferreira. I feel like Ferreira's going to chin him in round 1, and especially when you're going up against a shorter opponent. When you're 6'3" and you have a reach disadvantage to a guy who's 5'10", you lose. It's as simple as that. You can't maintain distance. Within the pocket, you lose, pretty much, because you can't hit them and they can hit you easily. You lose when in the pocket, and you can't maintain distance, which is the benefit of being the taller fighter. So, and he doesn't have the grappling credentials or ability to outgrapple Ferreira. So I don't see a single possibility where Petrosan wins this. I feel like he then goes on to get cut from the UFC, because I think that's like 4 fights in a row that he's lost. So it's unfortunate, but it's just his build, Moving on, Joshua Van versus Taishura. I'm picking Joshua Van to win. He is my favorite flyweight fighter, but this is, in my opinion, the most underrated fight on the entire card. Okay, both of these guys are under the age of 24. They are both very young prospects. I'm going to pick Joshua Van to win in the distance. No, outside of the distance. What the fuck am I talking about? Joshua Van to win by decision. I think if Van can stuff the takedowns of Taishura, which he can do, to be fair to him, we've seen him do it against Brundage. However, I did see Edgar Chairez take him down a few times, so we're going to just tiptoe around that factor. If he can avoid the wrestling of Taishura, I'm going to pick him to win, and I do believe he will win. This is just such an... I love this matchup. Shame that this is happening right now as they're both barely even ranked. I think Van's 15 and Taishura's not even ranked. But I like this. I like this fight for Joshua Van. I like this fight for Tashura. I don't care who wins, but I do obviously want Joshua Van to win, and I am picking him to win. Curtis Blades versus Koniev is last on the prelims. This all means should be on the main card, rather than a certain fight that I'm going to address that is on the main card that I would happily swap these two out for. Koniev is a fat fuck, and you listen. Would you believe this? He has been popped for performance-enhancing drugs before. He had multiple performance-enhancing drugs in his system. Now, obviously, that doesn't matter in MMA. The goats of the sports have all taken performance-enhancing drugs, and no one even bats an eye. So, I'm going to pick Blades to win, though. Koniev is not a good fighter, or he's not a top-level heavyweight fighter. He does have a win over Pereira, which was the guy that Francis Ngannou just beat. However, that was turned to a no contest because Koniev obviously tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. I do think Blades is going to get this done, and I think Blades is going to chin him. Moving on to the main card, we have Bobby Green versus Mauricio Ruffy opening up the main card. I'm going to pick Mauricio Ruffy to win. Bobby Green has taken so much fucking damage in his career. He has changed his name to King. Okay? That's how much CTEs have. He's changed his name to King. You can't even name your child King. I'm pretty sure it's illegal. But, Bobby Green, he's now changed it. He's now King Green, everyone. You have to call him King, or he's gonna get very mad at you. I'm not calling him King. Okay, that's not happening. Right, I'm calling him Bobby. His birth name was Bobby, so we're gonna call him Bobby. Unless he tries to threaten me, then I'll happily call you King. Don't worry, buddy. I'm thinking Mauricio Ruffy's gonna knock him out though. He's going to dance. Mauricio Ruffy, I can envision it happening now. Obviously, Bobby Green does have good boxing. But I think Ruffy's going to dance around a little bit, run around in circles, hit him with some good, like flashy shit that everyone likes to do at that fighting nerds training gym. And then I feel like he's going to knock him out in round number 2. That's my prediction for this fight. Moving on to the fight that should 100% be on the prelims. Lemos versus Lucindo. I'm going to pick, Lucindo, whatever, it's the same shit. I'm picking Lucindo to win. By decision. Heavy favourite going into this one, I do believe, or I'm shutting on my ass. We have slight favourite. What? 23 years of age versus 37 years of age. Already know who I'm picking. Lucindo's winning. Moving on. I'm not going to talk in this fight anymore before I say something stupid. Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm picking Jalin Turner to win in round 1. Now, Bahamondes can easily get this done. He is a dangerous fighter. Jalin Turner has tried to do a no-look KO or like a walk-away KO multiple times. Like, he would have dispatched of Renato Moicano at UFC 300 if he didn't just start walking away after he, pretty much just slumped him. If he's learned his lesson, he can use his reach and he can, what can he do? He can use his reach and he can, follow up on a knockdown for once in his fucking career, and he will win this fight easily in round 1, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just bugging. Maybe he gets smoked by Ignacio, and I look like an idiot. Anyway, moving on to the co-main event. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I'm going with Justin Gaethje to win by round 3 KO. Fiziev has slowed down in every single fight that he's fought in. This is on 2 weeks' notice. Short notice, he normally slows down in his fight roughly around the 3rd round. He's coming off of a nasty ACL tear, as well as a very long time out of the sport. I don't trust him to get it done against Gaethje. Obviously, Gaethje's chin got molested in his fight against Max Holloway. Fiziev could get it done like that, but I feel like Gaethje's going to KO him, or at least get a TKO over Fiziev, and then Fiziev's career is going to spiral into oblivion like Tony Ferguson. Moving on to the main event, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. I'm going to take Alex Pereira to win. Round 2 KO. I can see it happening. This is the biggest pick'em fight I've ever seen in my entire life, because Ankalaev could mix up the grappling, and he could, ragdoll Pereira, but at the same time, he's not Habib. He's not light heavyweight Habib. Okay, well, that's some nasty acne got up there, Ankalaev. I'm just noticing that now on his caricature. Yeah, mate, I'm pretty sure that's performance-enhancing drugs used. He's going to get banned permanently. What the fuck am I talking about? I think Ankalaev, I don't trust him to stand on the feet with Pereira, and if Pereira's done any work in his grappling defense at all, I feel like he gets it done. I feel like he keeps on the feet. He gets it done in round 2 after surviving round 1. My opinion on the fight. Let me know what you think of my picks in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.